Lots of pink out there on some of the players and also the cheerleaders and dance teams on the sidelines. But the first penalty goes against the Owls. They have 39 penalties on the season in 7 games, something that hurt them last week. But they're going to probably go back to Ridley. He's perfect 1-for-1 on the day for 11 yards. Ridley was 21 for 33, 226 yards against New Haven last week, and that's going to bring up a 2nd and 15. Ridley looking for his big play wide receiver, Luke Gatson, who is 11th in the NE10 in receptions with 25 this season, 271 yards, 2 scores. But Ridley has hit 14 different receivers, so it's going to be a little pick your poison out there for the Ravens defense. But they've pushed the Owls back here and a long 3rd and 15, ball at the 25, 13:08 left here in quarter number 1. You're going to see the defense pin their ears back. The defensive ends is Furno and Yaboa. The nose tackle is Clark. The linebackers, Kamara the third, Hinton, Sejour, and Facchetti. As that one falls incomplete. The cornerbacks are Stone and Mays, and the safeties Clark and Salavati. And how about Stone last week? Had that pick 6, 2 interceptions total. They have a stout defense, do the Ravens. 5th in opponent points per game, 2nd against the rush, 4th against the pass. And that's going to bring up a punting situation here. So the opening drive stalls for the Owls, and they are going to punt it away. Andreas Picarelli, former all-rookie team member in the NE10, 3rd in average at 37.6. But that wind, we're going to see if that plays a factor. It's been swirling. Early on before the game, it was moving from left to right on your screen. That one kind of got held up. So the Ravens are going to come out with some fantastic field positions. They have the top-ranked offense, 1st in passing, 5th in rushing, while the Owls defense 6th in total D, 5th against the pass, and 5th against the run. And yeah, they have Adrian Parker, the former offensive player of the week. 309-plus yards in total offense, ranking 1st in the NE10, 2nd in completion percentage, over 64%, and 2nd in yards, over 1,800 on this season. And he likes to throw the pill and get touchdowns. He has 15 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. If there is an Achilles heel for Adrian Parker, he has 5 fumbles on the season. He's 43 rushing yards, but he's coughed it up 5 times. So look for that Owls defense to get in there and try and strip it away. It's 1st and 8, ball at the 49. Ravens look to get on the Owls side of the field. Nice swing pass out. And that running for some space there is Benitez, the 5'9", 200-pound junior out of Belmead, New Jersey. 31 carries on the season, 153 yards. He only has 2 receptions for 15. Make that his 3rd reception. So those backs, versatile, can get it out of the backfield. Now the Ravens on the Owls' side of the field, 1st and 10. Ball at the 43. And they're going to try and run left-hand side, and swallowed up by Quentin Asiado. The outside linebacker does play a little safety. The Owls play a 3-4, but you also see a little 3-3-5 mixed in there as well. The tackles, Polanco and Zacharakis. The guards, Zepulova and Zarba, and Najim is the center. 2nd down. They're going to swing it back out to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez gets a 1st down and more. Those starting wide receivers are Gonzalez, who just caught that ball, Howe and Massey. Parker is the quarterback. The tight end is Goff, while the main running back is Hyde. 296 yards on the season, 56 carries, but they have about a 3-headed attack with Molesky and Benitez as well. You're going to see a lot of them. They have a big play offense, 3 wide receivers with 50-plus yard reception, 71 being the long on the season. So Parker back under pressure, and he's going to be sacked. The first sack of the game is by Ray Magliazzi. That's his 2nd and a half sack now on the season. Gained 10 pounds in the offseason to 6'3", 255 pounds. Senior out of Burlington, Massachusetts. 23 tackles on the season. 3 for a loss, 4 quarterback hurries, 2 pass breakups, picks up another sack. Now has 2.5 on the season, and that's going to push them back and set up a 2nd and 10, ball on the 36. 2 first downs already for Franklin Pierce. Is it going to go back to the air? Parker delivers another strike to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez gets his 2nd catch of the day, gets close to the original line of scrimmage, about a yard shy of that, so that's going to bring up a 3rd and 11. 44% of the time, the Ravens convert their 3rd downs on the season. That is tops in the conference. Parker versus Post had 205 passing yards and a TD, ranked 2nd in completion and yards passing. So we're going to see if they go to the air. Look for Al's D to pin their ears back here and try and pick up another sack. Parker under pressure, and it's intercepted. Jonel Figueroa gets his first interception on the season. The 5'10", 190-pound redshirted sophomore was on the NE10 all-rookie team. Now, he's picking up where he left off last season. He had 3 INTs over the final 4 games of the season. Figueroa picks up his first interception on this season, not only stopping a good drive by the Ravens, but the first turnover of the game goes by the way of Jonel Figueroa. Now DeGiello, Quentin Houghton, and Karan Walker all have a interception this season. That's going to bring up a 1st and 10 deep in the Owls end zone. They're going for big play wide receiver. Did he pick it up? Oh, in and out of the hands of Luke Gatson. So it seems like Keith Ridley targeting big Luke Gatson, the 6 foot, 195-pound senior out of Westbrookville, New York, coming over from West Virginia State a season ago. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10. Ball at the 5-yard line, so the Owls need to be careful. After the big interception by Jonel Figueroa, the Owls need to go 95 yards to find pay dirt. Facchetti teasing a blitz for the Ravens. Ridley in the pocket. And it's caught by Hetmeyer. Hetmeyer with a full head of steam turns on the Jets at the 20. The 10 gets pushed out of bounds probably around the 1-yard line. What a yard after catch run by Tariq Hetmeyer. Kept his focus. It was tipped in the air by the Ravens DB. Keith Ridley gets it to Hetmeyer for a huge gain. Oh, they were down at the 5-yard line. Talk about chunk yardage, now down at the 1. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Owls at the 1. They want to strike first here. 8:43 left here in the first in a scoreless NE10 matchup. The Ravens dropped their first 3 games, flipped the script, and won their last 3. The Owls looking to do the same. They won the final 3 games of the regular season last year, and that's what they look to do yet again this season. What a pass and catch. Ridley to Hetmeyer for 94 yards. Ridley already with 105 yards passing after that 94-yard bomb. I'll talk about Keith Ridley, too. He just needs 3 touchdowns, either running or passing, for the most touchdowns scored in the season in SESU history. He can move into 6th or 8th place. There's 3 players already tied. He's currently the 2nd best ever passing percentage in a season at 64.9. Looking to go number 1. Steve Armstrong in 2007 had 65.7. They're going to keep it on the ground, and Gray is going to lose some yards. We saw this last game against UNH. The Owls had a 1st and goal from about the inch-yard line and could not put it in 4 consecutive tries. That's going to bring up 2nd down as Gray gets pushed back. So the ground game not getting going here early for the Owls. And that's going to bring up 2nd down. 2nd and goal, ball at the 3-yard line. So a 2-yard loss for Gray on that last play. Under 8 minutes to play here in the first. The Owls knocking on the door. Can they kick it in for the first score of the ball game? Griffiths. They hand it back off to Gray, and Gray powers his way through, and the signal is he got back to that original line of scrimmage down at the 1 yard line. That's going to be a short 1 yard, bringing up third down. The Owls 37% on the season in third down conversions. That's third in the NE10, but red zone scoring, the Owls 18 for 31. Third in the conference. They want to punch it in here, not settle for a field goal. Third and goal, ball on the 1. The fullback, Griffiths, in motion. They're going to take it to the right-hand side, and plowing his way through for a touchdown. Owls is Elijah Gray. His 5th touchdown on the season. The leading rusher from last season, coming back, the leading rusher again this season. All New England team, NE10 first team a season ago, has been named twice the Offensive Player of the Week, and he gets the first points on the board for the Owls. Daniel Benzie on for the point after, a perfect 20 for 20 on the season. The freshman has been spectacular in the kicking game for the Owls. It was an Achilles heel for them last season, and that one goes through the uprights, and the Owls lead a 7-0 here midway through quarter number 1. Keith Ridley, 2 for 5, 105 yards passing already with that 94-yard bomb to Tariq Hetmeyer. That's his only catch of the ball game. Gray has a catch, but Gray punches it in there on his 4th rushing attempt as the Owls drive from their 5-yard line all the way down and find a pay dirt for the first score of the ball game. Owls looking for a little home cooking. 2 of the final 3 games for Southern are at home. The last game is on the road. The Ravens also have 2 of their final 3 games at home. So a little home cooking for both squads. Owls up by 7, 7-10 left here in quarter number 1. Benzie to kick it away. The dangerous Kerr and Johnson back to return for Franklin Pierce. The Franklin Pierce Ravens average a 17.4 yards per kick return. Good for 7th in the NE10. And going a little cross-country here is Johnson. Johnson goes through a couple Owls. Finally brought down outside the 35, close to the 35, around the 33-yard line. So it's been great field position for the Ravens, but on their last drive, it was an interception by Jonell Figueroa that stopped the drive, and the Owls travel down the field 95 yards for a score. On defense for the Owls, the ends are Gummel and Magliazzi, who already have a sack in the game. Galloway is the nose tackle. The linebackers, DeGello, Walker, Canterman, and Asiado. The corners are Houghton and Ware the third. The safeties, Figueroa and White. So Magliazzi already has a sack. Figueroa with an interception. And they're going to keep it on the ground. And a big hole. It's Hyde, and Hyde picks up 15 and gets close to the 50-yard line. The 5'11", 205-pound sophomore out of Nashua, New Hampshire. Coming over from Merrimack College. Little hurry-up offense here on first down. Little dump out over the middle to Hyde, and Hyde leaps his way. It appears to be another first down. What would be the 4th first down for Franklin Pierce? They are going in the hurry-up offense. You have the red-shirted sophomore, the 6'2", 230-pound Adrian Parker. One-time Offensive Player of the Week already this season. First in total offense is Parker. He looks to drive him down the field. 6:10 left here in the first. And they keep it on the ground, try and blast it up the middle. So a heavy dose of Hyde here, 296 yards. Coming into this matchup, 8th in the NE10, and yard per carry, though, ripping it off at 5.3 yards per clip. Good for 7th in the NE10. He's got 331 all-purpose yards. He's first in scoring touchdowns. His 5 on the season. On the ground, 1 through the air. And that's going to bring up another first down. What a drive here. The Ravens look to answer the Owls. And Houghton finally wrestles down Tristan Johnson, 6'3", 170-pound freshman out of Syracuse, New York. The Ravens return Gonzalez, the wide receiver, the most outstanding rookie in 2023, fourth in yardage. So let's see if they go for him. Parker gets out of it, but finally wrestled down by someone who has been stepping up of late, Derek Omareggi. He added 5 pounds in the offseason. The 6'5", 280-pound redshirted sophomore out of Lynn, Massachusetts. 26 tackles on the season, 2.5 for a loss, 2 sacks. Big number 19 has been stepping up as Rob Eggerling, the defensive coordinator, been rotating the defensive line in 3rd and 2, and Hyde's going to pick up that first and more. What a drive here. Ball started on the Franklin Pierce 34-yard line. Now the Ravens looking to get into red zone territory. The D-line for the Owls, 6'2", 257-pound average when they play that 3-4-D. The O-line for the Ravens, 6'1", 299 pounds, almost 1,500 pounds of beef. So you're going to see Hyde rushing behind that big O-line. First and 10 ball at the 33. 4:04 left here in the first. 7-0 lead for the Owls. And under pressure, swing pass out to Hyde, but wrestled down by Joe DiGello. How about Joe DiGello? 3 straight seasons with 50-plus tackles. 206 tackles in his career, 119 solo. He gets one there. He needs 17 more for the most career tackles, moving to the 9th spot. 206 right now, needs 222 to move into number 9 on the all-time list at Southern Connecticut State University and pass Marcel Dumas. We're at 222 from 1991 to 1994. And there's a whistle on 2nd and 11. See if the first penalty goes against the Ravens, and it does. So the Owls had 0 sacks or 0 turnovers last week in the loss. And they already have a sack by Ray Magliazzi, and Figueroa has the INT. So they're off to the races here. Russell Gaskamp, in his 5th season, is the head coach. The offensive coordinator, Zachary McBride, in his 2nd season for the Ravens. That's going to push them back and bring up a 2nd and mile. 2nd and 16 ball at the 29. Under 3 minutes to play here in quarter number 1. The Ravens look to answer the Owls a score. Parker running for his life, finally wrestled down. And is that going to be in the grass? Omareggi in there. He has just been spectacular. To put a little perspective, he only had 6 total tackles last season, 26 coming into this matchup. 3 quarterback hurries make that number 4 right there, as Parker is going to have nightmares from big number 19, Derek Omareggi. But that's going to bring up a 3rd and 16, crucial one here, ball at the 29-yard line. 2:44 left here in the first. Owls lead by 7. Hyde shifting in the backfield, a strange backfield. They're going to be looking for the swing pass out. Parker, no place to go. Omareggi trying to chase him down. Wide open man at the 20-yard line. Shakes off a couple tacklers. Is Austin Howe for his first reception in a ball game. The 6'2", 190-pound redshirted sophomore out of Newington, Connecticut, picks up his first grab. But it's going to be a big decision for Russell Gaskamp, the head coach of the Ravens. At a 4th down, do they go for it? It's a 4th and short. 2:06, time is ticking away as they look over to the sidelines to offensive coordinator Zachary McBride. What will Rob Eggerling dial up here? Will he call the blitz? Look out for big number 1, Karan Walker, there in the middle for the Owls, and they do bring the heat. Parker stands tall, but in and out of the hands of the Ravens, Alex Benitez, who already has a catch there, but a big drop And a turnover on downs. A turnover on downs. So far, the Owls with an INT in the ball game, and now a fourth down stop. The Owls get the ball back in much better field position than they did during their last drive when they went 95 yards in 5 plays, chewed up 2 minutes and 19 seconds of the clock. Gray rushed it in for the 2-yard score, and that's where we stand, 7-0 the Owls. 1st and 10. They're going to keep it on the ground yet again with Gray. And Gray, shifty move to the outside, gets close to the 25-yard line. How about Gray coming in 1,691 career rushing yards in an Owls uniform. And congratulations to Elijah Gray. Career all-purpose yards over 2,000 right now and 11 touchdowns in an Owls uniform. He's coming over from Merrimack a season ago. Already over 2,000 all-purpose yards. And that's going to bring up 2nd and 3. 1:11 left here in the first. Ball at the 23. Ridley back to pass. Big pocket for Ridley as he overshoots Luke Gatson. Now, after the offensive line gave up 8 sacks last week, put that in a little perspective, they only gave up 8 sacks in the first 7 games total. The offensive line has been standing tall here, averaging 6'4", 284 pounds, 1,424 total pounds up front for the Owls. The D-line, the Ravens play a little 3-4 and 3-3-5, 6 foot, 267-pound average on that D-line for the Ravens. That's going to bring up a 3rd and short, 3rd and 3, ball at the 23. Coming up on a minute left here in quarter number 1. The Owls look to sustain another big drive. They're going to go back to the air. Ridley, time, scrambling around now. He's got some wheels. He's going to pick up the first down and more until he's smacked out of bounds. Not before he got the first down and tackled by Trey Sejour, the 5'11", 235-pound senior out of Everett, Massachusetts, 12th in the NE10 in tackles with 39 on the season. But Ridley has some wheels, over 1,400 yards of a total offense and 14 TDs. He has 102 yards on the ground, 4 TDs. He has 10 through the air as well. So Ridley, a dual-threat quarterback. 25 seconds left, 1st and 10, ball at the 27. Going to keep it on the ground with Gray. Gray running left side all day long. It must be something they saw. They're going up against big Chris Yeboah, who was on the 2024 watch list for the season. He had 7 sacks in 2022, 4 sacks last season. This season he's got a pair, but they're running it to that left-hand side behind Gomes, Michalski, and Schwartz. And we are going to, with the Owls leading 7-0 over the Franklin Pierce Ravens. And we're going to have more NE10 action on Flow Sports right after this. Welcome back. The NE10 matchup between the Owls and Ravens at Jesdow Field on the campus of Southern Connecticut State University as we start quarter number 2 and quarter number 1. The Owls drove 5 plays, 95 yards in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Punch it in with Elijah Gray with a 2-yard rushing score. That came off the interception by Jonel Figueroa. And that's going to bring up 2nd and 5 here in quarter number 2, ball at the 33. Ridley back to pass. Right over the middle. Finds his big tight end, Straken. Good to see Straken back out there. In 2023, he only had 2 receptions for 17 yards. Now he has 3 touchdowns on the season. Started out strong. He had those 3 touchdowns in the first 3 games, but has been a little quiet since. So it's good to see big number 84, the 6'4", 240-pound sophomore out of Prospect, Connecticut, make a big grab and bring up another first down, the 3rd of the ball game for the Owls. 1st and 10, ball at the 46. 14:24 left here before the break. They give it back off to Gray, who's rushing up the left side with authority. They're just mowing the left side down of that Ravens D. Now the Ravens, though, are 2nd in the NE10 against the rush. They only allow a shade over 100 yards. The Owls have been doing it really through the air. 105 yards through the air by Keith Ridley. That's going to bring up 2nd and short. 13:49 left here in quarter number 2. Ridley back off the Gray. Gray, a little shake and bake up the middle and plows his way through Caden Hinton. The middle linebacker got a heavy dose there of Elijah Gray. But the 6'2", 200-pound senior Caden Hinton out of Quartz Hill, California, makes the tackle right before the sticks. So it's going to be a 3rd and short, ball at the 45. The Owls today 2 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. This would be a big one here as they are on the Ravens' side of the field. Ridley back off the Gray. Gray, no, fake, back out over the side. It's going to be a first down and more, and a little spin move by Dylan Jones, the 6', 190-pound junior out of New Lebanon, New York. Coming over from Sacred Heart University, a Division I program right down the street. What a pickup. 14 catches. That's his 15th on the season. His first here today for Dylan Jones. As I mentioned, Ridley's hit 14 different receivers this season. So it's going to be a pick your poison when the defense lines up for the Ravens. 12:29 left here before the break. 1st and 10, ball at the 35. Owls driving here yet again. Ridley trying to get away and cannot, gets taken down. It almost looked like a horse collar tackle, and that's dangerous. You saw Ridley kind of get crunched after getting sacked 8 times last week. John Furno, the 6'3", 260-pound junior out of Douglas, Massachusetts, picks up his 2nd sack on the season, 1st sack for the Ravens defense here today. And this is what we thought we'd see from that Ravens D. They're 4th in passing yards allowed, 214, and they can get after the quarterback. 16 sacks on the season, good for 7th in the NE10. They go back to the air. Nice play design as Jones wide open. You got to give credit to the 2nd-year offensive coordinator, John Weiss, coming over from Rutgers and Ohio State. And this offense just has been exploding. Yes, they've gotten shut out in 2 games, but the other games that the Owls have scored, the other 5, they've averaged almost 30 points per outing. So there were 2 tough battles by some top opponents, New Haven and the PSAC leading Shepherd early on in the season. But besides that, the Owls have been spectacular. Now they have a 3rd and 6, ball at the 36. Under 11 minutes to play, they'll swing pass out. The Griffiths, the fullback, rumbling, fumbling his way down to the 10-yard line. Griffiths can block, he can rush, and as you can see right there, Griffiths can catch as well. The 6'1", 260-pound junior. He is the Swiss Army knife for the Owls out of Mansfield, Massachusetts. Picks up his 8th reception on the season. He does have a reception through the air, has rushed the ball 1 time for 9 yards and has been paving the way for Elijah Gray all season long. That's going to bring up a 1st and 10, ball at the 12. So the Owls can get a first down before heading into the end zone, but they want to find pay dirt right here under pressure. Right over the top, going up for the big grab was Seth Westover, couldn't hang on to it. 6'1", 180-pound junior out of Jericho, Vermont. 8 catches on the season. See if they give it back to the two-time NE10 Offensive Player of the Week, Elijah Gray. Was on the NE10 preseason watch list. Where did they go for the big tight end, Straken? 6 receptions for 61 yards, 2 TDs in the first 2 games. Only 2 receptions since and a TD, but he has a reception here today. 2nd and 10, ball at the 12. They're going to keep it on the ground and trying to get up the middle, and in the scrum, finally taken down after a gain of 2. Big number 9, Chris Yaboa in there. 6 foot, 250-pound senior out of Worcester, Massachusetts. Under 10 minutes to play here before the half. That's going to bring up a 3rd down. Owls can get in 7 yards, a 1st down, but do they just go into the end zone as we see Jack Hennessy out there, the tight end on the left side of the formation. So 2 tight ends set for the Owls here on 3rd and 10. Ball at the 10-yard line. Ridley wants it all. Over the middle to Gatson, in and out of the hands of Gatson, and he got smacked immediately by Sam Kamara III, the 6 foot, 205-pound senior out of Old Bridge, New Jersey. So that drive started on the 16-yard line. They get all the way down into red zone territory, and that's going to bring up the kicker, Daniel Benzie, who's been spectacular. 2 for 3 on field goals this season. 34 is his longest. NE10 Rookie of the Week honors already this season. And he splits the upright. So a 10-point lead right off the bat for the Owls. They got the scoring going early in the first. At the 7:10 mark in the first, Elijah Gray rushes up the middle, capping off a 5-play, 95-yard drive. Went 2 minutes and 19 seconds. It was the big 94-yard pass from Ridley to Hetmeyer to step up that 2-yard score. They tack on another 3 as the Owls lead at 10-0 here in quarter number 2. And we're going to have more NE10 action on Flow Sports right after this. Welcome back. 9:15 left here in quarter number 2. A 10-0 lead for the Owls over the Ravens in a huge NE10 matchup on Flow Sports. And a little miscommunication. Johnson lets it get on the ground, but good recovery by the Ravens. The 2 Ravens players ran into each other during that return, but Tristan Johnson, the freshman wide receiver, averaging 19 yards per kick return on the season. Heady play by the first year. And he recovers. That could have spelled a disaster and could have been the 2nd turnover. The Owls already with 1 interception in the game. And that was only the 4th interception for Parker all season. Coming in tied for 1st in the NE10 with 15 touchdown passes. 2nd in the NE10 in yards at over 1,800. That's going to bring up 1st and 10, ball at the 25. 9:07 left here before the half, and just slipping down is Parker. Parker has 43 rushing yards on the season along a 22, but he has 5 fumbles. So look for the Owls to try and get their hands in there. Now the big wide receivers, Massey and Howe, rank in the top 6 in reception TDs. As this looks like a different Franklin Pierce team that put up 55 points, the most points in program history against Post last week. Parker back, looking for a place to go. He's going to keep it on the ground and finally chased out of bounds close to the sticks. Not sure if he actually made it or not, as Asiato forced him out of bounds. That's going to bring up a 3rd down. He is a few yards short, 3 yards short to be exact. That's going to bring up 3rd down 8:06 left here in the second quarter as Franklin Pierce looks to get their first points. They averaged 33.7 points per game, second in the NE10. Helped score this here early by the Owls defense, but Benitez rumbles his way past the 40-yard line and picks up a first down, the 6th in the ball game for Franklin Pierce. So another conversion, 2 for 3 now for the Franklin Pierce Ravens. 36 yards on the ground, 51 through the air, little balanced attack. They only have 7 rushing yards so far before that scramble. So that's going to bring up third. Oh, that is huge on Austin Howe, the big play wide receiver. Austin Howe, the 6'2", 190-pound red-shirted junior. Another penalty. So after the penalty, so it was post-penalty, so they're going to call it after the play. And so instead of getting pushed back and losing it down, the Ravens get a gift. That's going to bring up 1st and 10. Ball at the 35-yard line for the Ravens. Parker scrambling right. Little swing pass out. And hit immediately by the Owls, shakes away, and finally finished off by Jonello Figueroa, who already has an INT in the ballgame. How about that 6', 190-pound red-shirted sophomore Jonello Figueroa? You can see why he was on the NE10 all-rookie team. He has 5 games with at least 5 tackles this season. Over 65 tackles in his career. He had 3 interceptions over the final 4 games of 2023, and now over the final 3 games of 2024, he picks up his first. That's going to bring up 2nd and 10, ball at the 35. 6:59 left here before the half. Parker looking for a place to go. Going to go to the left side. Dangerous pass. Almost interception number 2 as Quentin Houghton, the lockdown corner for the Owls, the 6 200-pound senior. The opposite side's been flipping around. You've seen a lot of Banks wear the 3rd as well. But Quentin Houghton has been the mainstay at the cornerback position for the Owls. Added 5 pounds in the offseason, 27 tackles, and 1 INT this season. 3rd and 10, ball at the 35. 6:53 left here before the half, a 10-point lead for the Owls. Parker under pressure, running for his life from Karan Walker, and Parker turns on the Jets and picks up a first. Right past the outstretched hands of Derek Omareji. So Adrian Parker, a little quicker than we thought. The 6'2", 230-pound red-shirted sophomore. Only rushed for 43 yards on the season, but picks up a big first down and ball at the 50 now, 1st and 10. Under 6:30 left here before the break. Parker wants to go back through the air. Oh, and gets it right over linebacker Joe DiGello for a big play to Cameron Massey. I talked about those big play wide receivers. Massey and Howe rank in the top 6 in reception TDs. Howe has 5, Massey has 4, and now Massey picks up his first catch of the ball game, and the Ravens driving, a little hurry-up offense. Going for it all at the 1-yard line, and caught at the 1 is Gonzalez. Broken coverage on 2 separate plays. Chris White tried to get back there, the strong safety for the Owls. But now it is 1st and goal for the Ravens. Last time they were in red zone territory in the first quarter, it was an interception down at the 5-yard line. Now the Owls need to make a big defensive stand. Red zone scoring, 20 for 22 on the season for the Ravens. 19 of those 20 coming by the way of the touchdown. And Benitez can't make his way through. Good up the middle pressure by the Owls. And that was Giordon Robertson, the red-shirted freshman defensive lineman, in there on the play for the Owls. And that's going to push them back maybe a inch or 2 and bring up a 2nd and goal from the 2. 5:08 left here is Rob Eggerling, the defensive coordinator for the Owls, rotating players in, especially on that D-line, as we see Shane Canterman, the middle linebacker, come in. So both teams putting in their heavy package. There's no wide receiver split right now. I formation for the Ravens. Benitez in the back. Gurria in front of him, and they give it to Gurria, and he gets into the touchdown for the Ravens. That's his 4th touchdown on the season. The 5'11", 200-pound sophomore out of Naples, Florida. Gershon Gurria gets a rushing score to cut into this Owls lead. That's going to bring out Nolan Startzel. 1 for 2 on the season. 25 for 29 in PATs. The holder is Caden Hinton, the wide receiver, and splits the uprights. Now it's just a 3-point ball game, and what a drive for Franklin Pierce as they cut in the lead. Owls lead at 10-7 here, 4:33 left in the second. And we're going to have more NE10 action on Flow Sports right after this. Welcome back to a huge NE10 matchup between the Owls and Ravens. And the Ravens get a score and cut that lead. The Owls up by 3, 10-7 here late in a quarter. Number 2 at Jesdale Field on the campus of Southern Connecticut State University. Sean Martin gets that one at the 20. Dances his way up to past the 25 to the 27-yard line. So Gurria gets the first touchdown for Franklin Pierce with a 2-yard rushing score. PAT was good. The scoring started with an Elijah Gray, a 2-yard rushing score. That capped off a 5-play, 95-yard drive that chewed up over 2 minutes of clock. Daniel Benzie hit a field goal from 27 yards to tack on 3, capping off a 15-play, 74-yard drive that chewed up over 7 minutes and 30 seconds of clock. But the Ravens answer, so now the Owls must respond. And they keep it on the ground with Gray, and Gray powers his way up the middle. It's going to take the entire team to take him down. Somebody's been doing some squats in the offseason. Elijah Gray coming over from Merrimack has just been spectacular in an Owls uniform. Over 2,000 career all-purpose yards and 11 touchdowns for the 5'8", 215-pound senior out of Summers Point, New Jersey. He gives the Owls a 1st and 10. Owls 7 first downs in the ball game. 153 yards through the air, only 36 on the ground. 3:48 left here before the half. And that one gets batted down at the line of scrimmage. Gino Facchetti, the 6'1", 225-pound junior linebacker, bats that one down. 5th in the NE10 in tackles for a loss with 6 on the season. That brings up 2nd and 10, ball at the 39. 3:43 left and just a 3-point lead here for the Owls before the half. Divine Edwards on the near side of your screen. Look out for him. He is one of the big play wide receivers for the Owls. Ridley tries to swing that out, and Tucker could not grab onto that. And Jaylon had a heck of a game in the last outing against UNH. 5 catches for 92 yards, but has not had a reception as Griffiths checks in through the ball game for the Owls. The big fullback. 3:39 left here before the half. That's going to bring up 3rd and 10, ball at the 39. The Owls nursing a 3-point lead here on the Ravens, who are coming in red hot, winners of 3 straight. Ridley rolls into the near side of your screen, pointing downfield. He's going to keep it himself, and takes on a couple tacklers, including Anthony Salviati, the strong safety, 5'10", 175-pound sophomore out of Attleboro, Massachusetts. So a little Massachusetts versus Massachusetts and a little scrum there on the sidelines, a little jawing between these two squads as the Owls looking for a little revenge. They lost last season. The first win by the Ravens over Southern in school history was a 17-14 win on the road. The Owls have never lost at home to Franklin Pierce. Franklin Pierce has just fielded a team in 2019. They were playing a little scat football, 193-pound sprint football, and they've built it up under the tutelage of Russell Gaskamp. Piccarelli blasts that one away. It's going to fall, and what a weapon. You don't think there's weapons on special teams? How about the former NE10 All-Rookie Andreas Piccarelli pinning him down at the 3-yard line. Piccarelli, 2022 All-Rookie team for the NE10. Third in average in the NE10. Second inside the 20. He picks up his 7th inside the 20 punt. He has the longest one in the NE10 at 76. He's also forced 6 fair catches, good for 7th in the NE10. So the weapon on special teams pins the Ravens back deep in their own territory in the shadow of their own end zone. The Ravens have plenty of time. 3 minutes to play with here before the half. It's going to be a 1st and 10, though, at the 4-yard line. So they have to go 96 yards to get a score. But remember, a field goal ties it up here heading into the break after the Owls have just absolutely dominated. Now Parker over 100 yards passing with that toss. They have 65 yards on the ground. 9 first downs for Franklin Pierce. We've run 27 plays for 164 yards. Thirteen rushing attempts for just 65. They're going to keep it in the air, and Parker throws that one just out of bounds. He's been sacked 1 time and also thrown an INT to Janelle Figueroa. Gurria has the only score as 4 different running backs have hit the field. Actually, we haven't seen Andrew Molesky yet, but Benitez and Hyde. Hyde has 3 carries for 26 yards. Parker, the leading rusher, has gained 28 on 5 carries. 3rd and 4. Ball to 10. Right over the middle. And incomplete. Rocked was Dixon, it looked like. What another defensive stand. This is exactly the defense we have known to love from the Owls, especially after last season. Talk about last season. They had the best defense in a decade. 2023 opponents' points per game average was only 21.4, the best in over a decade. And we're starting to see shades of that here late in the season. 2:20 left here before the half. That's going to bring up 4th down and the kicking unit, but they're going to go to a timeout prior to that. And we're going to take a break here, and we're going to be back with more NE10 action on Flow Sports. Welcome back. 2 minutes and 18 seconds remain before the half. It's a 3-point lead, 10-7 for the Owls over the Ravens. 4th down. They're going to punt it away from the shadow of their own end zone with Jaden Colon, a dangerous kick returner there, but held up a little. It's a windy day here today. The wind has been blowing in at around 16, 17 miles an hour from left to right, so Benitez had to kick that one into the win, and the Owls are going to have great field position and plenty of time. They don't really even need to run that 2-minute drill. They have 2 minutes and 10 seconds before the half. They're going to get a first down in Ravens territory. The Owls, 153 yards through the air, just 40 on the ground. They have run 27 plays for 193 yards. The big play of the game was Ridley to Hetmeyer for 94 yards, setting up the first score of the ball game. Ridley over the middle to Griffiths. Griffiths rumbles his way down to the 30-yard line and for another first down for the Owls. That is the second reception for Griffiths here in the ball game. Jones has 2. Now Griffiths picks up his second. It's going to be a timeout with a minute 59 remaining. The Owls lead by 3, 10-7. They got the scoring going early in the first with Elijah Gray rushing up the middle for 2 yards, capping off a 5-play, 95-yard drive. They did that in only 2 minutes and 19 seconds because it was a 94-yard bomb from Ridley to Hetmeyer to step up that rushing score. Benzie kicked a 27-yard field goal in the second quarter to put the Owls up 10, but the Ravens answer with a 2-yard rushing score, capping off a 10-play, 75-yard drive that lasted over 4 minutes and 35 seconds. But the Owls now with tremendous field position. And before we head in the break, I got to give Rob Zaper our trivia question of the day. Southern head coach Tom Godek followed a decorated college career that culminated in the free agent signing with what NFL team? We're going to give you that answer after the break. Legendary Tom Godek on the sidelines in his 11th season for Southern Connecticut, 2016 Division II Coach of the Year, former Owls captain, and was the offensive coordinator for 13 seasons. 2 minutes remain, first and 10. Over the middle is Ridley to Gatson. Gatson picks up his first grab of the day. So as the 6th different receiver now, catching a pass from Keith Ridley, and that's going to bring up second and short. Ridley back to the air. Over to the right-hand side to Tucker. Tucker makes a couple moves. Dragging defenders down. Finally wrestled down is Jaylon Tucker. Now with the 5'10", 195-pound senior from Orange, Connecticut. Spectacular week. 5 catches for 92 yards this week now. As the Owls close to the 10-yard line, they still can pick up a first down and swing pass out all the way across field to Gatson. What an arm by Ridley. There is a lot of wind out there as well. Ridley with good control and great arm strength from the 6'4", 230-pound grad student out of Saugus, Massachusetts, coming over from Division I Bryant a season ago. And there's going to be a time out on the field. Hate to see a injured player. Well, at the helm for the Ravens, Russell Gaskamp in his 5th season. He's the first to coach at the Division II level as the Ravens joined the NE10 in fall of 2019. In 2021, 0 wins. They increased that to 2 the following season, 4 last season, and here they are, 3-3 on this season, but they've ripped off 3 straight after dropping their first 3. This is the 8th game for Southern, 7th for the Ravens. They had a bye in week 5. The Owls don't have a bye until the 2nd week of November, so you're getting a little banged up here towards the end of the season, especially for the Owls. When you get a bye right before the final game of the season, that's a little tough for them, but they are finishing strong. They closed 2023 on a 3-game winning streak, outscoring opponents 80-51 all on the road, finishing 4-6 last season. And they had that strong early schedule. New Haven, Assumption, and Bentley combined for 6 of the last 8 and 10 titles. As Ridley going for it all, back in the end zone, touchdown! Owls! Luke Gatson gets his 3rd touchdown on the season. The West Virginia State transfer delivers yet again this season. And the Owls, with 1 minute and 1 second remaining, get another touchdown on the board, their 2nd of the day. It's going to bring on Benzie. It's a perfect 21 for 21 in PATs on the season. He's 6th in the NE10 in scoring. And he puts that through the uprights. So the Owls put up a 17 spot here in the first half. And now back up by 10. The largest lead of the ball game has been only 10 points so far. But the first passing touchdown for Keith Ridley, the Owls have gotten one on the ground and now one through the air. Ridley working his way up to most passing yards in a career in Southern Connecticut State University history. Coming into today, he had 3,585 and working his way up to $4,000. Rob Burns had that, sitting in 7th place. But now Ridley, most touchdowns scored in a career. He has 32 touchdowns this season. Looking to move in the number 5 spot all time on the SESU list. Walter Stousey from 1956 to 1959 had 34. Now Ridley with 32. Also 15 total touchdowns in the season for Keith Ridley. Trying to move up to 8th and 6th place. There's 3 players tied for 8th. And a good field position after that. 57 seconds left, but now the Ravens on the Owls side of the field. So for some reason, special teams goes with the squib kick up by 10. 57 seconds left, and that is going to put a dangerous offense. The Ravens are in great field position on the Owls side of the field. Ball at the 49, 1st and 10, but they have 57 seconds left to work with, and they have big play offense. 3 wide receivers with a 50-plus yard reception already on the season, so there's 3 of them to play with. 4 wide receivers set for Parker. 1st and 10, Parker's going to go through the air. He's dancing around. He's going to get wrestled down. No, escapes. Near side of the field, and finally pushed out of bounds by Karan Walker. Not before picking up a big chunk of yardage. So Parker felt the pressure. There was 3 Owls around him, including Galloway, the big nose tackle. And Parker escapes once again and is the leading rusher. Now for the Ravens, that's going to bring up a 2nd and 1. Ball at the 40. 49 seconds remain before the half. The Ravens would love to punch it in the end zone here. And a deep down the middle, finally tackled by Jonel Figueroa. That ball came out, and they're going to say incomplete. Are they going to say it's a fumble? It looks like they're pointing. The line judge on the far side of the field said incomplete. Howe had the grab. And they're going to give it to him, and it's going to be a hurry-up offense for the Ravens. 35 seconds to play with. 1st and 10. Ball now at the 26. Parker back under pressure yet again. Parker's going to be sacked by a host of Owls in the backfield, including Jermaine Galloway, the 6'2", 260-pound, red-shirted sophomore nose tackle. A host of Owls were in there, including Joe DiGello, the 2nd sack of the ball game for the Owls. But that penalty is going to wipe it all out. A 15-yard killer for the Owls. We saw this in the last game. They make a big play but get a big penalty against them as well. So 23 seconds remain, and it's going to be 1st down for the Ravens instead of being sacked and probably pushed out of field goal range. Now, Nolan Startzel, the kicker for the Franklin Pierce Ravens, the senior, 1 for 2 on the season. His long is only 32 yards. But they might not have to worry about that as the chain gang moving all the way down inside the 15. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 14. 23 seconds remain. Now, the Owls already had a goal line stand, and a turnover on downs forced the Ravens with no points, and they're going to have to do it once again. So ball on the 12, 1st and 10, 23 seconds remain before the half. The Owls lead 17-7 here in the first half. And a huge NE10 matchup on Flow Sports. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here today. We've been in for a treat. Now, the wind also moving left to right on the screen, so it's going to be tough for the field goal kicker if they try for a field goal. But you know that Russell Gaskamp, the head coach of the Franklin Pierce Ravens, is thinking touchdown all the way. Parker back to throw. Parker plenty of times going to scramble up the middle. Parker weaves his way to the outside, but wrestled down by Josh Martinati, the 5'11", 195-pound junior out of Hadwin, Connecticut. He has been stellar. The Owls rotate defensive backs. They play a 3-4, sometimes a 3-3-5. You'll see an extra safety out there. And Martinati, the extra strong safety out there, comes up with a big-time tackle. The Franklin Pierce offense, 20 for 22 in red zone scoring coming in here today. So now 21 for 23. 20 of those come by the way of touchdowns. They're going to get a 2nd and 10. They could still pick up a first down, but there's only 14 precious seconds remaining on the clock before the half. Franklin Pierce would like to get the touchdown and just trail by 3. They have a high-powered offense, 2nd in the league, averaging over 33 points per game. They have 119 through the air, 74 on the ground. The only score coming by the way of the running back, and they're going to put it back into the hands of Adrian Parker. 2nd and 10, ball to 12. Parker, swing pass out to Hyde. Hyde makes his way down to the 10-yard, only a 2-yard game as Martinati yet again making a play for the Owls defense as he's limping a little bit. It looks like he's going to have to come off the field. And it's not good for the Owls. Maybe a little hamstring or calf as Canterman, the middle linebacker, enters the ball game for the Owls. 10 seconds remain. 3rd down. Ball on the 9-yard line. They can get down to the 3 and pick up a first down, but with only 10 seconds left, you figure it's going to be at least 2 shots to the end zone. They have plenty of time for 2 end zone shots. Parker under pressure gets that one out and completes that pass to Austin Howe yet again. Howe, his 3rd reception of the ball game. 3 Franklin Pierce Ravens now with 3 receptions apiece. But it's going to bring up a crucial 4th down and a big decision here for Russell Gaskamp in his 5th season for the Franklin Pierce Ravens. Do they go for it or just take the points, be down by 1 score? Or do they go for it all and just trail by 3 heading into the half? And the kicking unit's going to come out onto the field. Nolan Startzel. This is going to be a 24-yard attempt. His long is a 32. So on 4th down, the Franklin Pierce Ravens look to tack on 3. And it's blocked by the Owls. The Owls special teams unit stands tall and gets the block. It looked like Magliazzi shooting the gap there and getting a big mid on it. And that's the way we head into the half. We've had an interception, plenty of sacks, and plenty of scoring as well as the Owls lead 17-7 in a huge NE10 matchup. And we are going to have a half number 2 on Flow Sports right after this. Welcome to halftime on the Flow Sports, and it's a 17-7 lead for the Southern Connecticut State Owls over the Franklin Pierce Ravens at just outfield on the campus of Southern Connecticut State University. This is a huge NE10 matchup between the Owls and Ravens, and the Owls got on the board first with a 2-yard rushing scored by Elijah Gray that capped off a 5-play, 95-yard drive that lasted 2 minutes and 19 seconds. It was a big 94-yard bomb from Keith Ridley to Tariq Hetmeyer that set up that score, and the Owls got on the board first. The PAT was good, and they went up 7-0. They went up 10-0 on a Benzie field goal from 27 yards that capped off a 15-play, 74-yard drive that chewed up over 7 minutes and 34 seconds of clock. Gurrier got the first rushing score for the Franklin Pierce Ravens at the 4:33 mark in the second. And that play went 75 yards in 10 plays and lasted 4 minutes and 35 seconds. But right there at the end, right before the half, the Owls go on a 5-play, 43-yard drive, just over a minute, as Ridley finds Divine Edwards for a 5-yard score. And the Owls now up 17-7. So putting that in a little perspective, the Owls have put up 17 points already. In the past 3 outings, the Ravens have allowed just 18 points per game while averaging 48 points per game on offense. On this 3-game winning streak, the Ravens have been red hot, but only managed 7 points in the ball game so far. And as I mentioned, let's go back to our keys of the game. The Owls have been shut out in 2 games this season, but in the other 5 games, the offense has averaged over 29 points per game. They have 17 already now. Also, the O-line allowed 8 sacks last week, while only allowing 8 in the first 7 games. They've let up 1 sack here today by a vaunted defense for the Ravens, as the Owls looking to pick up their second NE10 victory and move up into those standings. Right now they sit in 7th place, 1-4 record in the conference. Franklin Pierce sits in 4th with a 3-1 record. They are right behind Assumption, St. Anselm, and at the top of the board is New Haven, a perfect 4-0, the only undefeated squad in the NE10. But this would go a long way, and the Owls could move up ahead of Pace and Bentley possibly with the big victory. But the Owls have been doing it through the air, 196 yards through the air. So now Keith Ridley is just 4 passing yards away from his 5th game with 200 passing yards. He's coming in 4 straight 200-plus passing yard outings. So he just needs 2 more touchdowns for the most touchdowns scored in the season and move into 6th place. 3 players are tied for 6th place with 17 touchdowns. Now Ridley with a passing TD has 15 touchdowns scored on the season, 32 in his career. He's 2 away from moving up to number 5 on the SESU all-time list, passing Walt Stuzzi, who had 34 from 1956 to 1959. And Elijah Gray, he has 33 yards on the ground and a rushing score, and has surpassed 2,000 all-purpose yards in his time here with the Owls. So he came over just about a season ago and has now over 2,000 all-purpose yards and 11 touchdowns. So 2 big pickups, and they're 2 big playmakers making the plays for the Owls. Divine Edwards got that touchdown, and Gray has the other. 196 yards through the air for the Owls, 40 on the ground for Franklin Pierce. 125 yards through the air by Parker. He's been sacked once and also thrown an interception. And on the ground, the Ravens have amassed 74 rushing yards between a multitude of backs of Hyde. Parker has scrambled for 25 yards, but Hyde is leading the way with 26 at 8.7 yards per clip. So you would think you're going to see a little bit more Hyde. He's ripping it off at 8.7 yards per carry. But he only has 3 carries, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Benitez has 3 carries for 14 yards. The leading receiver is Gonzalez, 3 receptions for 42 yards. As we get underway here in the second half, and the special teams unit blocked that field goal attempt, and now they go down, and wrestle the returner down, but that's going to bring back out the Ravens offense. Second in the NE10 in points per game, first in yards per game. So far, they've run 35 plays for 199 yards. They have 11 first downs in the ball game. But it was an INT down as they were trying to score there early in the second, and then late in the second, a blocked field goal attempt by the Owls. It was by 24 yards, but a big pull by Ray Magliazzi stopped that. So it's a 10-point lead for the Owls here early in the third quarter. They're going to keep it around a jet sweep to Gonzalez. No, Parker still has it. That fooled everybody. Parker had a man wide open. Tristan Johnson, the big 6'3", 170-pound freshman. That fooled everybody, including me. I thought that went with the jet sweep to Gonzalez. What a well-designed play by Zachary McBride, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens in his second season. Only 7 points on the board for Franklin Pierce. They put up 55 last week against Post. The most in program history. Was a balanced attack, 228 rushing yards and 205 through the air. Today, 125 through the air, 74 on the ground. They keep it on the ground and bulldozing his way close to a first down. Just going to be a few yards shy is Benitez. We haven't seen Romello Hyde, the leading rusher, in quite a while for the Ravens, but it's been a heavy dose of Benitez now, and he picks up his fourth carry. That's going to bring on a crucial 3rd and 4. The Ravens 3 for 7 on the day in third down conversions. 14-15 left, ball on the 27. They're going to keep it on the ground. Benitez makes his way past Karan Walker, finally taken down, but not after he gets a first down and more for the Ravens. The chain gang moves, and that is the 12th first down of the ball game, a dozen for the Franklin Pierce Ravens. Ball started on their 22 as they are now making their way up close to midfield. That's going to be 1st and 10, ball at the 37. 13:47 left to play here in quarter number 3. Parker, plenty of time, going for it all, has a man open. Oh, and diving in with Figueroa. He wanted his second interception of the ball game. He came out of nowhere. Howe just stood there. The ball kind of stayed up in the air. The wind has been swirling. Earlier on, it was coming in at 16 miles an hour from left to right on your screen. You could hear a little bit in the background right now. It is swirling around. Kind of got hung up in the air. Did Parker's pass to Howe. Figueroa, though, came out of nowhere. Turned on the jets. That was the boost button on Janelle Figueroa, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Parker, they're going to go back to pass. It's going to be Parker gets hit by Ray Magliazzi. So Magliazzi, who was the only sack in the ball game, in there yet again on a quarterback hurry for the Owls. The 6'3", 255-pound senior from Burlington, Massachusetts, added 10 pounds last season. And he's just put up a performance coming into this ball game. 23 tackles, 3 for a loss, sack and a half. Added a sack here today. Picks up his 5th quarterback hurry. Has a couple pass breakups. Does a little bit of everything for that defensive line. 3rd and 10, ball at the 37. 13:36 left here in the third. Parker under pressure yet again. Finds a man on the outside. Tackled out of bounds by Karan Walker. Not before. Another first down. A baker's dozen now. 13th first down. And that was picked up by Jameer Dixon coming over from Post University. So he must have enjoyed last week when they put up 55 against his former team Post. Parker, hurry up offense. Got to get wrestled down yet again for another sack by the Owls, and that's Karan Walker. The middle linebacker, 6 foot, 225-pound sophomore, cleans it up from East Hartford, Connecticut. First sack on the season. He's got an INT, 33 tackles on the season. So 2 sacks already after Franklin Pierce Ravens gave up 0 sacks last week. Have only given up 13 on the season. Good for 5th in the NE10. Al's dialing up the pressure. 2nd and 14. They're going to keep it on the ground. Benitez has just a different level. He goes from 0 to 60 in 1 second and blasts his way up about 3 yards shy of the first down. The Ravens on the outside of the field, ball at the 45. That's going to bring up another third down. Ravens 5 for 9 on the day and for third down conversions. 44% on the season. They are first in the NE10 in that category. 12-11 left here in quarter number 3, 3rd and 3. And it's going to be a little movement on the outside by Cameron Massey, it looked like, the wide receiver on the far side of your screen, the 6'2", 190-pound junior. So that's going to push them back, which was a manageable third down where you could pass or throw. Now it's most likely going to be a passing scenario for Adrian Parker. O-line, 6'1", 299 pounds, almost 1,500 pounds up front. Looking to pave the way here, but now they're going to be dropping back in the pass protection. It's 3rd and 8, ball at the 40. 12:08 left here in the third. Parker, plenty of time, wants it all. Airing it out to Hal, and Hal makes the grab down at the 5-yard line. I mentioned early in the ball game that they had 3 wide receivers with at least a 50-plus yard reception. And it is just another big play for the Ravens, and they're knocking on the door. Now, the Owls did stop them on another time, but Benitez is going to walk right into the end zone, and what an opening drive for the Ravens. Whatever the halftime speech was by Russell Gaskamp, the head coach, he needs to bottle that up and save it for later. The ball started on their own 22-yard line, and they just went 78 yards for pay dirt in just over 3 minutes. What an impressive drive by the Ravens. You knew they weren't going to go away quietly. Benitez picks up the first rushing touchdown. The PAT is good, and got ourselves a ball game once again. Just a 3-point lead for the Owls. We're going to have more NE10 action on Flow Sports right after this. Welcome back to exciting NE10 matchup between the Owls and Ravens at Just Outfield on the campus of Southern Connecticut State University. The Ravens score on Benitez rush for 6 yards. Setting that up, though, was Howe with a 44-yard bomb from Parker. Benitez punches it in the end zone, just actually walked right in, and now it's just a 3-point ball game as Martin looks for a big return and gets it out there around the 15-yard line. So the Franklin Pierce Ravens not going to go away quietly. The Owls took a 17-7 lead into the half, but just in the blink of an eye now with 11:32 left here in the third, it's just a 3-point ball game as the Owls offense takes the field. Keith Ridley, 11 for 19 so far in the ball game in that first half, 196 yards and a touchdown. He's been sacked once. Gray on the ground, 10 carries for 33 yards and a score. Hetmeyer has the leading yardage for receivers with 94. Griffiths, Gatson, Jones, and Straken all have a pair of catches as they get it back out to Gatson. Gatson makes his way up for the first down and runs over a defender in the process. That's what you want to see. A little chip on the shoulder for the Owls as Demir Stone, the 6', 175-pound freshman. Now, look, he is fantastic. He is first in the NE10 in pass breakups with 5. He has 4 INTs. That's tops in the conference. And he also had 2 last week, including a pick 6 for 60 yards. I mean, the Ravens defense allowed only 1 fourth down conversion out of 5 attempts against post. They were spectacular, and that ball up for grabs just going to go out of bounds. But against post, that defense for Franco Pierce just held the post offense to 70 yards rushing and forced 2 interceptions, include Stone's 60-yard pick six. They've kept the ground game for the Owls in check. They only have 40 net yards, 7, by the way, Keith Ridley scrambling, and 33 from their 2-time Offensive Player of the Week, Elijah Gray. But now Keith Ridley has 5 games with 200 yards passing, so they're going to maybe rely on the arm, but they keep it on the ground with Gray, and Gray squirts his way up the middle. Tried to get behind Griffiths there. There's also Everett Michalski, the NE10 All-Rookie. You're going to see him go to that left side. You got Dan Schwartz in the middle, who's moved from left guard to center this season. He's a former NE10 All-Rookie. And also Michalski last season picked up All-Rookie honors, the 6'6", 315-pound redshirted sophomore out of Woodstock, Connecticut. But that's going to bring up a 3rd and 8, ball at the 33. Under 10:30 left to play here in quarter number 3 in a tight ball game. Owls lead by 3, 17-14 over the Ravens. Battle of the Birds. Ridley back. And a lot of hand checking there by Justin Mays, and a lot of chatter afterwards as well. But good coverage by the Jersey City, New Jersey native. 5'10", 150-pound redshirted freshman. So you got 2 freshmen playing corner for the Ravens, and they've been standing tall as Westover couldn't grab that one. So the defense for the Ravens does their job and stops the Owls offense with 10:10 remaining here in quarter number 3, and just a 3-point cushion for the Owls. So on 4th down, they are going to kick it away. Gonzalez back to return, 17.8 yards per punt return this season. He's going to let that one bounce. That's going to go. It's going to stay in bounds, and a little, was that a little English, do they call it? By Andreas Piccarelli. He already had the longest punt in the NE10, and what a little spin on that one. It bounced at the 5 and almost hooked out of bounds on purpose, like a magnet was drawing it to the sidelines. And the Ravens defense now is going to have the ball on the 1-yard line. So they're in the shadow of their own end zone. Does Rob Eggerling, the defensive coordinator for the Owls, dial up a blitz here and go for the safety? So what a weapon Andreas Piccarelli has been for the Owls. Piccarelli averaging 49 yards per punt in this ball game. Bring up the 1st and 10 in the shadow of their own end zone. They're going to have to go 99 yards for a score, but 3 points ties this ball game up. Under 10 minutes to play here in the 3rd. As Hyde after that carry on the ground. Now Hyde, that's only his 4th carry of the ball game for 26 yards. Benitez leading the way. He has 6 carries for 41 yards. Parker has scrambled 8 times for 21 yards. Benitez is the only rushing touchdown of the ball game. Gonzalez, the wide receiver, has a rush in the ball game with 7 yards. 97 yards on the ground, 185 through the air. It's exactly what they did last week when they put up 55 on post. It was a very balanced attack. So 185 yards through the air. Parker, 17 for 26, has thrown a pick but has been sacked twice already today. They have run 45 plays for 282 yards. They only have the rushing scores to show for it. Both running backs getting the scores as they're going to clap Hyde off. But that's going to bring down up a 2nd and 8. Ball on the 4-yard line. Under 10 minutes left in quarter number 3. The Ravens have won 3 in a row, but are just 1-2 away from their home turf. The Owls this season are 1-3 right here at Jess Dow Field. They ripped off 3 in a row to finish the season last year in 2023. They look to do it again, but it will start right here against the Franklin Pierce Ravens. And the Ravens going to go through the air. Dangerous play as Gonzalez grabs that one and makes a man miss. What a move by Gonzalez. Asiato got faked out of his shoes on that one. Look, he was a safety at one time. He's playing a little outside linebacker for the Owls, but Asiato cannot make the tackle, but they're going to say he was stepped out of bounds around the 13-yard line, 12-yard line. That brings up a 1st and 10. So they started on the 1, but now get a little bit of breathing room. Parker under pressure, and he's sacked again in a fumble. And the ball is on the ground. It looks like Benitez may have jumped on that one for the Ravens. I mentioned that early in the ball game. 5 fumbles on the season for Parker. If he has an Achilles heel, that is one of them. An excellent quarterback, 15 TDs, over 1,800 yards passing, but coughs up the football. The Owls already have an INT in the ball game. Looking for another turnover, but that's going to be a big loss for the Ravens on going to bring up 2nd down and long. 8:35 left here in the 3rd. Heady play by Benitez to fall on that one. Parker lives to fight another day in his end zone. Almost gets sacked over there. Just a swing pass out to his big tight end, Emmanuel Goff. And Goff gets shoved out of bounds by Dejon Banks, the junior defensive back out of West Hartford, 6 foot, 185 pounds, taking on that 225-pound Goff and pushing him right out of bounds. Big 3rd down here for the Ravens. They are 6 and 10 on the day, so they are getting those conversions early in offense. 6 for 10 is a great number, but it's 3rd and 13, ball at the 9. 7:45 left here in the 3rd. Ravens trail by 3 to the Owls. Little shift up front for the Owls, trying to shoot those gaps. Parker tiptoes outside of his end zone. Find a man over the middle. Out to the 35-yard line with Figueroa in coverage. And another big play by Cameron Massey. Massey picks up his 2nd catch of the day. He had a 23-yarder early in the ball game, and a big one right there. And now all the confidence behind Parker, and he's going for it all with Gonzalez, but broken up by who else? That was Joe DiGello, the linebacker, stride for stride with one of the fastest wide receivers on the Ravens squad. Josiah Gonzalez. Cannot believe that Joe DiGello, the 6'2", 230-pound senior, caught up to him. Well, you can see why. He was the NE10 first-teamer last season and now has 3 straight seasons with 50-plus tackles. But that's a huge pass breakup to bring up 2nd and 10. Ball at the 34, 7:07 left here in the 3rd. Owls lead by 1. They're going to keep it on the ground. Good push up the middle. Zacharakis, the right tackle, out of Peppermill, Massachusetts, a 6'4", 330-pound senior. Big number 79 in there, muscling his way around. Allowing the running back Benitez to get a couple extra yards. And that may have crested over 100 yards on the ground, over 200 yards through the air. 14 points to show for it, though, as the Owls lead by 3. 6:33 remains in quarter number 3. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 from the 4, D1. And that's going to be another 1st down. Swing pass out to Dixon, that post-U transfer, coming in from the city of brotherly love, my hometown, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the 5'8", 150-pound junior. All-purpose yards, 315 coming into this ball game. So now Parker's hit 10 different receivers, including running backs and tight ends. He is spreading it around. And it's going to be another bad penalty on the Owls, and it's going to put it into their own territory. So the Owls shooting themselves in the foot with those penalties, giving Franklin Pierce all the life they need. They push that all the way to the 39-yard line. 6:15 remains. The only scoring done in the 3rd quarter was by Franklin Pierce. And they look to do it again right here. Benitez got that rushing score, 10-play, 78-yard drive. This drive started at the 1. And here they are. in Owls territory. Under pressure, gets that one away to Dixon. Dixon out on the sideline, stepped out, not before. Picks up some positive yardage, almost down to the 30-yard line, around the 32. So there's been a lot of quarterback hurries. But Parker, the 6'2", 230-pound, red-shirted sophomore, standing tall. You can see why he's first in the NE10 in total offense in the Week 3 Offensive Player of the Week. Second and a short 5. Ball on the 36. 5:16 left here in the third. Franklin Pierce looks to go up in this ball game for the first time. They have trailed the entire ball game. A touchdown will put them ahead. A field goal would tie it. But that one just a defeat of Howe. Howe, 4 receptions in a ball game for 73 yards. Gonzalez has 4 receptions for 50. Massey, the other big play wide receiver, 2 receptions for 48 yards. The players we expected. Parker, 21 for 31. They've been throwing the pill around. He's been sacked 3 times, though, and 1 INT. Coughed the ball up once, but it was recovered by Benitez. Big third down. They are 7 for 11. Have a Slurpee. The Ravens can here. Benitez is going to pick up another third down conversion. They are 8 for 12 on the day and 19 first downs. And Benitez has been the featured back here after Romelio Hyde had been all season long. The 5'9", 200-pound junior out of Belmead, New Jersey, picks up the first down. First and 10 ball at the 25. It's going to be a quarterback keeper the entire way, but it may end up being a sack. And if it is, it looked like Jonel Figueroa was the first to get in there. No, he got back to the original line of scrimmage, they are saying, so probably won't be registered a sack. But Jonel Figueroa blasting in there from the free safety position. Can't say too much about the red-shirted sophomore out of Massachusetts on the NE10 all-rookie team last season, carried it over to this season. The Owls have always had stalwarts out there at the safety position. 4:07 left in the third, second and 10 ball at the 25. 3-point lead for the Owls. All the scoring has gone the way of the Ravens here. They have 1 touchdown so far here early. Escaping is Parker, and he slides down at the 15-yard line. Escaping the grasp of DJ Antoine, the redshirt freshman defensive end, was in there but couldn't quite get a paw on Adrian Parker. And he's just been spectacular scrambling. Now over 20 yards scrambling, but has really got out of some jams. And that's going to bring up an easy 3rd and 1 ball at the 31. 3:24 left here in the third. They're going to keep it on the ground this time with Hyde, and Hyde gets the 20th first down of the ball game for the Ravens. Unbelievable. They have just been dominating on third downs and just moving the chains, wearing out that Owls defense. Because you see DJ Antoine out there on the field now for the Owls. Also, Vaughn Highland, the sophomore, is in the middle. So the Owls are rotating because they are tired as Karan Walker makes the tackle down around the 8-yard line. What a drive. 14 plays, 83 yards. This started on the 1-yard line of Franklin Pierce, and here they are knocking on the door. They can get a first down by getting down to the 2-yard line, but they may not need to. It's second down. Ball in the 8. Under 3 minutes to play here in the third. Hyde takes it, tries to stretch the field to the right side, and finally rested down around the 6-yard line. Looks like Sean Martin, the linebacker, was in there on the tackle. There's Jermaine Galloway checks in for the Owls, the big nose tackle. 2 minutes left here in the third. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 4. Ball at the 8. They can pick up a first down. 3-point lead for the Owls. The Franklin Pierce Ravens looking for their first lead of the entire game here late in quarter number 3. Dixon in motion. They're going to keep it on the ground. And the big back Gurria already has a touchdown. He seems to be their goal line back. He picked up his 4th touchdown on the season earlier. And they're going to ride Gurria to the end zone, but they have picked up that first down. Now it's going to be a 1st and goal from the 2. Can the Owls defense stand tall yet again? They had a big goal line defensive stand earlier in the ball game in the first half. Here they are. 1:05 remains in quarter number 3. 1st and goal from the 2. Heavy package in. They're going to do it. Blast up the middle with the Gurria. And the signal from the referees is he is down at the 1-yard line. So some big penalties on the Owls. I mean, this has gone 17 plays for 94 yards. The drive started at the 1. Currently now on the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 1. 24 seconds left here in quarter number 3. And there's a flag on the play as the Owls get the big stop that they needed. There's Asiatu in there on the tackle. Asiatu and the strong safety, Chris White, were in on the tackle, pushing Gurria back. He is their goal line running back. He may come back off the field, but it looks like it's going to be a penalty on the Ravens. Or they picked up the flag because it's still 2nd and goal from the 1. The ball has not moved by the umpire. The far side line judge is the one who threw the flag, but after 3, the Owls clinging to a 3-point lead as we head into the 4th. A huge NE10 battle on Flow Sports. We'll have more after this. Welcome back. Huge, tight battle here in the NE10 between the Owls and Ravens on Flow Sports. We're on the campus of Southern Connecticut State University at Jess Dow Field, where the Owls have never lost to Franklin Pierce. But right now, the Franklin Pierce Ravens here in the 4th quarter trail by 3, but they are knocking on the door as it is 2nd and goal from the 1. Do they go back to Gurria? He is in the backfield. He already has a rushing score from close, and he picks up his 2nd rushing score of the day, and the Franklin Pierce Ravens get their 1st lead of the ball game here in the opening seconds of quarter number 4. The Ravens are on a 3-game winning streak, and they look to make it 4 here at the hands of the Owls. It's a little revenge for the Owls. The Ravens are looking for 2 in a row. Now, the Owls are 4-1 all-time against the Ravens since they entered the conference in 2019. But last season, Southern lost a heartbreaker, 17-14 on the road. And for the PAT is good. So, the script has been flipped. And now the Franklin Pierce Ravens lead by 3, 20-17 here early in quarter number 4. The Owls go back to the air. Keith Ridley, 12 for 22, 211 yards, through the air, a TD. He's only been sacked once. The ground game for the Owls, they haven't been able to get it going. Only 42 total yards, 35 of those coming by the way of Elijah Gray. He does have a rushing score, though. Devine Edwards has the only touchdown reception for the Owls. Gatson has 3 receptions for 33 yards, while Hetmeyer has 1 catch for 94. 11 first downs in the ball game for the Owls. They have run 36 plays for 253 yards. But a drive that went 99 yards. And Guria gets another rushing score and gives the Franklin Pierce Ravens their first lead of the ball game. So the Owls look for a big kick return here from the electric Sean Martin. Give them good field position. Martin gets it at the 10. He's out to the 20. Martin finds a little space. Martin breaks it out to the outside. He's got one man to beat. Martin at the 50, at the 40, at the 30, at the 20, the 10. Martin! Touchdown! Owls! Sean Martin, the #1 kick returner in SESU history, takes it 90 yards to pay dirt and gives the Owls the lead back again. The electric Sean Martin, former wide receiver, turned running back, had over 1,700 kick return yards and gets his first kick return for a score and puts the Owls into the lead. How about Sean Martin, the 5'10", 175-pound senior. Benzie on for the PAT. It is good, and the Owls flip the script themselves, writing a new page. The first kick return for a touchdown this season by Sean Martin, the 5'10", 175-pound senior out of Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Over 2,300 all-purpose yards, make that now 6 touchdowns. Over now 18 career kick return yards. He's #1 on SESU's all-time list, and he gives the Owls a huge boost. Not sure, though, the Owls defense had enough time to rest. I was talking to former Owls legend Rob Zapor, and we were talking that the defense looked a little bit of a gas there, so maybe they got a little bit of a break and also a little bit of an adrenaline shot after that. Kick return for 90 yards by Sean Martin, getting his first kick return for a TD for the Owls on the season. They now lead 24-21, 14:43 though left here in quarter number 4 as Benzie boots that one away. They take it around the 20 and gets wrestled to the ground. What a stick, what a lick there. Braden Lewis, the junior defensive back on the special teams. Tristan Johnson didn't know what hit him. Welcome to college ball for the freshman. And it's going to be another penalty on the Owls. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Owls. So the Owls have been shooting themselves in the foot with penalties, unfortunately. That is their 5th penalty of the ball game, mostly at the inopportune time. But the Owls get a 90-yard kick return by the electric Sean Martin and now have a 3-point lead. But look at the chain gang move all the way up, almost to the 45-yard line at the 44. So this drive is going to be started in great field position for the Ravens. They're going to have 1st and 10, ball at the 44, only trail by 3, 14:38 left. And they have been scoring at will here in the second half. Get it over, but in and out of the hands of Benitez, the running back. Usually a sure-handed receiver. In the third, Benitez got a 6-yard rushing score. Guerrier got another rushing score at the 14:57 mark early here in the fourth. But the kickoff return by Sean Martin, 90 yards to pay dirt, put the lead back in the hands of the Owls, up by 3. Quarterback keeper for Parker. He's just going to slide down. He doesn't want to take a lick from Joe DiGello, the big 6'2", 230-pound outside linebacker. So it's going to bring up another third down. This is the 15th third down of the ball game for the Ravens. The good thing is they're 10 for 14 in this game. 3rd and 9, ball at the 45. The Owls fans getting a little rowdy here in the Owls Nest. The Blue Crew cheering them on. Can they stop them on 3rd down? Parker, wide open receiver down to the 45-yard line is Dixon. Dixon picks up first down number 22 for the Ravens. The Ravens, an eye-popping 11 for 15 in 3rd down conversions. Parker scramble for his life. Finds a little space in the middle. Sees Joe DiGello and slides down, and the ball came loose. He had one fumble earlier, and it's something we said that Parker has 5 fumbles on the season. But he wisely slides down to fight another day, and it's going to bring up a 2nd and 5. 13:09 left in the ball game. Can the Owls get off the 1-game losing streak? Parker flips it outside. Benitez finds a little bit of space until taken down by Banks, the 6', 185-pound junior. So a little hurry-up offense here. Parker looking to the sidelines for offensive coordinator Zachary McBride. Parker, 23 for 35, 253 yards through the air. It doesn't have a passing touchdown. Both the scores coming on the ground. Guerrier has 2, Benitez has 1. They give it back to Benitez. Benitez makes his way up the middle for inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. Slipped through the fingertips of DJ Antoine. So now red zone territory. Parker, quick snap, swing pass. Out to Dixon. Dixon gets pushed out of bounds by Jonel Figueroa. Owls lead just by 3. 11:48 left here in the ball game. 2nd down and short. Now, this is what happened last time for the Ravens when they punched it in the end zone. They still had an opportunity to get a first down close. It's not 1st and goal just yet. They're going to keep it on the ground with Benitez. Benitez makes his way up close to the first down. That's going to bring up 3rd and inches. 12 for 16 in 3rd down conversions are the Ravens. They have 23 first downs, 150 yards on the ground, 263 through the air. Did they give it to their big back who has 2 TDs on the day, Guerrier? 5'11", 200-pound sophomore out of Naples, Florida. He is in the backfield. No, they give it to Benitez, and Benitez powers his way into the end zone for a touchdown, Ravens, and they answer the bell. Ravens answer the 90-yard kick return by Sean Martin with an impressive drive that started on their 44-yard line. And Benitez gets his 2nd rushing touchdown all the ball game. 4 rushing scores for the Franklin Pierce Ravens as they take the lead prior to the PAT. Startzel had 1 field goal blocked, but perfect on point after attempts. And he remains perfect. what a back and forth affair. Lead changes all game long. The Ravens took their first lead of the ball game early in the fourth. The Owls come right back, and the Ravens come right back themselves. Now lead by 4 here with 10:51 left here in the fourth quarter. All right, let's get back to that trivia question. Southern head coach Tom Godek followed a decorated college career that culminated in the free agent signing of what NFL team? Tom Godek followed that decorated career in a free agent signing with the New York Jets as a student athlete. Godek suited up for the Owls from 84 to 87, was a 2-time All-New England selection as a senior. He served as team captain, also took home all ECAC honors. He's the 2016 Division II Coach of the Year and was the team's offensive coordinator for 13 seasons. He was also the 2010 Division II and III Assistant Coach of the Year by the Gridiron Club of Greater Boston. Godek took the Owls offense, attacked to new heights in his tenure as offensive coordinator. But he would love to see his Owls rally here down by 4. Godek looking for his 37th career victory here for the Owls, but they trail by 4. 3 scores, all touchdowns in the second half for the Ravens. Have them up by 4. Can Martin do it again? He gets it at the 2. Martin weaving his way. He's not going to do it twice as he gets tackled down around the 5-6 yard line. So Martin has the electric kick return to give the Owls the lead, but can't do it twice there, and it's going to bring up 1st and 10 for the Owls at the 12. 10:45 remains in the Battle of the Birds. The Ravens lead by 4 over the Owls, 28-24. Luke Gatson, also the big play wide receiver we just found out, is out of the ball game. That is going to be a big blow to the Owls. He missed 1 game already this season, but out rushing up the middle, you still have Elijah Gray, and Elijah Gray gets close to the sticks. Yes, the far side line judge or waving them on, and it's going to be a first down for the Owls, their 12th of the ball game. Owls run 36 plays, 253 yards, 211 through the air. Did they rely on Keith Ridley in his 5 games with 200-plus passing yards? That's 5 straight games. He has done it. Put it on the arm of the big Keith Ridley. Give it back off to Gray. Gray, no place to go, no room at all as Furno and friends in there for the top stop and tackle. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 10. A no gain for Gray. Gray getting stymied, only 46 yards on the ground here today, 53 total for the Owls. The Owls have been doing all their damage through the air. Do they go back to big number 5, Tariq Hetmeyer, who has a 94-yard catch and run? 9:30 left here in the ball game. Ridley under pressure. Up over the middle, dangerous pass. Falls incomplete. Isaiah Bragg, the sophomore wide receiver, was the intended target. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10. The Owls 4 for 8. 50% of the time they've been converting those 3rd downs here today. And this is a big one, ladies and gentlemen. 9:25 left here to play. Big NE10 battle on Flow Sports. The Ravens lead by 4 in a back-and-forth affair. The Owls led almost the entire ball game until that second half, and 3 touchdowns later, Franklin Pierce now leads 28-24. Ridley on 3rd down. Floats it over the middle and gets it in and out of the hands of Ben Jacks. The red-shirted freshman had it in his mitts, just couldn't get the squeeze and hold on. And the Ravens defense, 6 against the pass this season, stand tall. And the Owls are going to have to punt it away on 4th down. 9:21 remains. And it's going to be Andreas Piccarelli, who's been probably the best weapon for the Owls here today. 49-yard punting average on the day. And he boots that one, and it's going to land around the 45, 46-yard line out of bounds. So now you might see a heavy dose of the rushing game for Franklin Pierce. Now the Owls close out their home schedule with Senior Day and Military Appreciation Day against Pace on November 2nd. After that, it's a bye week. So that concludes the regular season at AIC on November 16th. It's a rematch. The Owls won the first game this season, 35-21 at home in Week 2 in a non-conference bout. Up next for Franklin Pierce, Saturday, November 2nd versus St. Anselm at a 1 p.m. Eastern Time kick. You can see all that on Flow Sports. 9:13 left here, though, in quarter number 4. 4-point lead for Franklin Pierce. Now they have the rock, 1st and 10, ball at the 47. Balanced attack, 159 yards on the ground. Leading the way is Benitez with 74 yards on 11 carries. He has 2 scores. Guerrier has 2 scores as well. He's only rushed for 6 yards. Both of those are goal line scores. So that they put it in the air. The Owls already have an INT on the day by Jonelle Figueroa. Parker's been sacked 3 times. You just keep it on the ground. You see Hyde in the backfield right now with Parker as they're getting the ball set here. 9:13 remains in the ball game. 1st and 10, ball at the 47. They take it up the middle. A little pushing and shoving. That's a little bully ball up the gut. Derek Omareji in there with a host of Owls to try and take down the back, and that's going to bring up an easy 2nd and short. The Ravens yet again on the Owls side of the field. 24 first downs in the ball game. They've run 72 plays, so you know the Owls defense is gassed, but not gassed enough to make that tackle by Omareji. He's just been spectacular. He has a bright future, does the red-shirted sophomore, a 6'5", 280-pounder out of Lynn, Massachusetts. So the offense for Franklin Pierce has run 73 plays. They really lit it up in that third quarter, though. They had 60 rushing yards, 106 through the air. Their best quarter thus far. They're going to keep it on the ground with Hyde. Hyde tries to take it onto the left-hand side, and a little pushing, and they're letting them play. They're not blowing that whistle. But that's going to bring up 4th down. And a big decision for Russell Gaskamp. You're up by 4. Your defense has been stopping the Owls all game long, but they are going to go for it. 4th and short. The Ravens 0 for 1 on the day in 4th down conversions. They're going to call it 4th and 1. Ball at the 44. This could be the play of the game. 7:25 left in the ball game. 4-point lead for Franklin Pierce. And they're going to want to talk it over. So how did we get here? Well, Elijah Gray at the 7:10 mark in the first quarter, rushed for 2 yards, capping off a 5-play, 95-yard drive for the Owls for the first score of the ball game. The Owls went up 10-0 on a Benzie 27-yard field goal, capping off a 15-play, 74-yard drive. And then Guerrier got the first points on the board for the Franklin Pierce Ravens 2-yard rushing score. Ridley, though, back to Divine Edwards for the first passing touchdown of the ball game for the Owls. Put them back up, and then it's been back and forth. Benitez cut into that lead with a rushing score. Guerrier got his 2nd on the day. Sean Martin gets a 90-yard kickoff return for a score to put the Owls back up 24-21. But then Benitez, on his 2nd rushing score, has Franklin Pierce up 28-24. I'd like to thank Director of Athletics Terrence Jones, Associate Director of Athletics and Communications Ken Sweeten. He is assisted by Shannon Gilmore. Associate Director of Athletics for Facilities Joe Hines. He is assisted by Jay Turiano. Our graduate assistants on productions today, the one, the only Rob Zaper, and Emily Lang and Sam Trumbly. Great crew, and this has been a great ball game here on Flow Sports. 7:15 left in the game. It's 4th and 1. The Ravens have not converted a 4th down on their only try here today. They look to do it here midway through the 4th quarter and try and milk some more clock. Can the defense for the Owls stand tall? The offense for the Ravens have run 75 plays, so that defense is gassed out there. So they have one stop left in them. And they give it to the big back yet again, and he rumbles for not only the first down, an extra 10. Gershon Guria, a 5'11", 200-pound sophomore out of Naples, Florida. 2 touchdowns on the day, and that big 4th down conversion. Now under 7 minutes to play. See if the Ravens chew up some clock here and let that play clock go down with this 4-point lead and try and win their 4th consecutive victory. It's truly impressive what this program has done, the Franklin Pierce Ravens. They were playing sprint football. That's 183 pounds or less. Joined the NE10 in 2019. 0 wins in 2021, 2 wins in 2022, 4 wins last season. Here they are, 3-3. And 6 minutes and 27 seconds left from their 4th victory on the season. But also, they could improve to 4-1 in the conference. That could vault them all the way up to 2nd place. And it looks like it's going to be another penalty on the Owls. They have been snake-bitten by penalties. That is their 6th on the day, over 50 yards of penalties on the Southern Connecticut State University Owls. That's going to set up the Ravens offense in red zone territory. 6:16 left to play. 1st and 10, ball to 17. Can the Franklin Pierce Ravens give themselves a little cushion and go up by 2 scores with a touchdown? Parker scrambles his way out. Karan Walker in the vicinity, but a big lick down there, but a great play by Howell as he gets down inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. Took a big lick. But the Franklin Pierce Ravens yet again knocking on the door. Could a touchdown be a nail in the coffin for the Owls? 5:36 left in the ball game. The Ravens can milk plenty of clock. They go with 3 wide receivers on the far side of your screen. 1 wide receiver on the near side. Parker, you're going to keep it on the ground with Hyde. Hyde tries to wrestle his way out of a tackle. Got through the first one by Asiado. Finally wrestled down. And Southern Connecticut is going to call time. Well, Russell Camp in his 5th season, first to coach the team to the Division II level when the Ravens joined the NE10 in the fall of 2019. He has his Ravens just 5 minutes and 13 seconds away from victory number 4 in the NE10. Now, New Haven sits at number 1, a perfect 4-0. Everybody's playing here today. Make sure you check it all out on Flow Sports. St. Anselm is 4-1. Assumption 3-1. Franklin Pierce right behind Assumption at 3-1 as well. So they could leapfrog all the way up to 2nd place, possibly even 1st, depending on what happens to New Haven, St. Anselm, and Assumption. And New Haven and Assumption are playing today. So one of those is going to drop behind Franklin Pierce. It's going to be 2nd and goal. Ball on the 4. Can the Ravens punch it in yet again? No, the defense for the Owls standing tall. They are really letting them They're not blowing the whistle. Usually you see they get stood up. That's when injuries happen and the like, and you see a couple players writhing on the ground in pain as well. But Hyde could not make it through. They're letting them push and shove their way. And they've been doing it all game, so they have been consistent. The ball, though, going to be spotted down the 1 yard line. So that's going to bring up 3rd and goal. The Ravens 13 for 18 on the day in 3rd down conversions. They've been doing it almost automatically. And the quarterback keeper by Parker. Parker tries to power his way in. Asiato knocks him out at the 1, though. Laying the shoulder is Asiato. He's a little shaken up by hitting the big quarterback, 6'2", 230-pound redshirted sophomore Adrian Parker. Parker tried to turn the corner, but Asiato stops him short, and that's going to bring up 4th down. So if you're Franklin Pierce, you might as well go for the touchdown because 3 points only puts you up by 7. Only puts you up by 7. It would make it 31-24 and a touchdown and extra point or a 2-point conversion could win it for the Owls. So you really at this point, since you're up by 4, Franklin Pierce is going to be going for it here. What an exciting ball game between the Owls and Ravens on a beautiful day here in New Haven at Southern Connecticut State University. It's a Blitz Cancer Think Pink game as well, as you see the cheerleaders and dance teams and some of the players donning pink to wipe out cancer. Southern had that strong early schedule, which you would think would set them up here. They played New Haven, Assumption, and Bentley, who have combined for 6 of the last NE10 titles. Franklin Pierce lost at New Haven. They still have Assumption and Bentley to play, but all the focus right now is this 4th down play. 4th and goal. Ball at the 1. 3 minutes and 44 seconds remain. A 4-point lead. Do they give it back to Gurria? Number 34 gets it and gets his 3rd rushing touchdown of the ball game. And put it what could be out of reach for the Owls. The Owls are going to have to score quickly here. The Owls are going to need a quick score. So with 3 minutes and 41 seconds, Gurria gets his 3rd rushing touchdown of the ball game. 5 rushing scores for the Franklin Pierce Ravens. Coming into the day, the Owls only let up 137 yards on the ground, good for 5th in the NE10, but 183 rushing yards for the Ravens. Starzel for the PAT, and it is good. And that puts the lead up to 11, 35-24. The Ravens look for 4 straight victories. They dropped their first 3 ball games, but have ripped off 3 in a row, and they look to make it 4. And we're going to have the final minutes of the ball game in the 4th quarter on Flow Sports right after this. Welcome back to an exciting NE10 battle. But the Franklin Pierce Ravens rallied here in the 2nd half. They were down, now lead 35-24. Loose ball on the ground. And it's Griffiths couldn't handle that one. 3 minutes and 37 seconds left in the ball game. 35-24 lead for Franklin Pierce. They came out red hot in that third. They scored right away in the third quarter. Benitez rush up the middle. Gurria gets a rushing score early in the fourth. Benitez gets another rushing score a couple minutes later in the fourth quarter, and then to cap it off, Gurria, third rushing touchdown at the 3:41 mark in the fourth. So it has been all the Ravens in the second half, but here come the Owls as they blast their way almost up to midfield is Tucker. Tucker was electric. 5 catches for 92 yards in the last game, but 3:15 remains in the ball game. Hurry up offense for the Owls. They're going to keep it through the air with Ridley. Over 210 yards passing on the day. He gets it to the outside. It's Hetmeyer. Hetmeyer down to the 32-yard line. Under 3 minutes remain. The Owls looking to score as quickly as possible and then get a defensive stop. Ridley back. Wants it all. Lots of contact down there by Salvitia. And the strong safety waves his hands in the air. The 5'10", 175-pound sophomore. Anthony says, no way are you getting that one on me. That stops the clock with 2:42 left. Owls trail by 7. They need a touchdown on this drive. 2nd and 10. Ball at the 33. Ridley back once again. Under pressure. Ridley getting chased down and wrestled and sacked by Jalen Barnes. The 6', 250-pound senior out of Trenton, New Jersey. Came in with 2.5 sacks, gets one right there. And the second sack given up by the offensive line. 2:19 remains. Third down. The Owls 4 for 9 in third down conversions here today. A big one here, 3rd and a mile. 3rd and 13. Ridley under pressure again. Gets pushed down from behind by John Furno. 6'3", 260-pound junior. And the fans that have made the trek from New Hampshire, they see their Franklin Pierce squad. See the Owls with a 4th and a mile. Ball is going to be put back on the 40. They got 2 sacks on this drive, but a player is down on the field. 2 minutes remain in the ball game. Good to see Dan Schwartz up. One of the mainstays of the offensive line. Ridley, does he have some magic in him? 250 yards passing on the day. His high on the season was 225, so he just broke his season record. His high last season was 356, but he has 5 games now, 5 straight games with over 200 yards passing. Ridley, 14 for 27 on the day, 250 yards, a TD. Sacked twice on this drive, though, and pushes them back, and it's 4th and a mile. 4th and 17. This is the ball game. Ball on the 40. 2 minutes remain. Ridley over the middle. Big grab. And the Owls get close, but not close enough. As Seth Westover just short of the sticks, and now there's pushing and shoving. This is not necessary. I don't know why the coaches are jumping and dancing and encouraging this on the sidelines. There's actually a coach antagonizing the players, doing the bird. Expected a little more out of the Franklin Pierce Ravens, but hey, look, they are up. And they can do whatever they like. As the Owls turn over on downs. And that's going to do it. That's going to be a wrap. 152 remains as the Franklin Pierce Ravens, 3 in a row coming in. Now make it 4 straight, and are going to catapult up in the standings of the NE10. Franklin Pierce is going to improve to 4-3 overall, 4-1 in the NE10. That's the biggest number. Well, the Owls going to drop to 2-6 on the season and 1-5 in the NE10. The Owls still have 2 more games. The Owls close out their home schedule with Senior and Military Appreciation Day against Pace on Saturday, November 2nd. And after a bye week, Southern concludes the regular season at AIC on November 16th. It's a rematch. The Owls won 35-21 at home in week 2, but in a non-conference bout. An exciting ball game either way. Here, great NE10 action on Flow Sports. But the Franklin Pierce Ravens just came out on fire in that second half, rolling touchdown after touchdown. They trailed the entire game until that fourth quarter, and they have just rolled up 35 points on the Owls. Low snap. They're going to keep it with Benitez on the ground. They're just going to try and run out the clock here. 1:40 remains. You know, we saw a little bit of everything. Lots of sacks. 3 for both squads out there. An interception by Jonel Figueroa. A 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Sean Martin for the Owls. But Parker has been impressive. Adrian Parker, the 6'3", 230-pound redshirted sophomore out of Manchester, Connecticut. 25 for 37, 275 yards. He scrambled a lot. He only netted 31 yards, but he got out of a lot of jams with that 15-yard rush early on in the game as well. The Franklin Pierce Ravens rolled up 186 yards on the ground, 275 through the air. 83 plays for 467 yards for the Franklin Pierce Ravens. 27 first downs. Put that in a little comparison. The Owls only had 13 and only ran 46 plays, which they racked up 309 yards. It was that third down efficiency for the Ravens that was so impressive as they get the much-needed first down and probably kneel out the rest of the clock. 13 for 19 on the day were the Franklin Pierce Ravens in third down conversions. That is just spectacular. So the Owls have one more home game. Make sure you get those tickets and make sure you get your spot for tailgating as well. It's going to be the final home game of the regular season for the Owls, and now in the victory formation are the Franklin Pierce Ravens, who are going to improve to 4-3 on the season. But most importantly, 4-1 in the NE10. So make sure you check out the NE10 website and see where they move up in the standings, because New Haven's playing Assumption today over there on Flow Sports. You can go over and check it out. 30 seconds remain. The Owls, though, what started as a promising season dropped to 2-6, 1-5 in the NE10, but still have a lot to play for. So next home game, we're going to close it out here, Senior Day and Military Appreciation Day against Pace on November 2nd, and that's going to be on Flow Sports. Franklin Pierce wins 35-24 in NE10 action on Flow Sports. I'm Chris Smith. Good day from Just Outfield, home of the Owls.